it's pretty exciting, to go back and to where we've had, just had a good time, had a great experience, a lot of great friends there. And, a little known fact, my wife got her second degree from Alabama State. She went back and got her teaching degree from Alabama State. She was a nurse. So when we first got back to Prattville, they had some openings there, and she went back to Alabama State. So, I had a lot of my staff were Alabama State grads. So I felt like I kind of knew, about Turkey Bowl, all those different things. I feel very familiar with those guys and knew a lot because they recruited our school. And then, of course, being there, playing in Montgomery for, every other year we were going to play 4 times a year. There, obviously that was the Crampton Bowl. But it's pretty neat, and at the same time you feel it just like coming home. I feel a sense of I want our team to show well to those, that's home folks, so we want to go up there and play well and represent what they've worked hard to do. Same way I feel here, about coming home. So it's going to be a good experience just going to see a lot of those folks.
Coach, you got Max there in a position where you returned a lot of depth and you've added some there. Talk about Max and the offensive line.
Yeah, I think we've always said I go by that group every day, and you say you go as those guys go. And of course we all know the age old. You got the running back gets the glory and the O-line does all the work. But I mean that's really the truth of you got to have them all. But it starts up front, and of course it starts with him. That never have a bad snap. And to put the ball in the gun every time when somebody's sitting over you, which we're in the gun a high percentage of the time, that's a big responsibility on this guy to make calls, execute a block, and get a perfect snap every single time. And that's just the way it's got to be. And it's good to have a guy who's got intelligence and that can make calls and do the things, be a leader. That's what we want, and so he does a great job for us. As our whole offensive line, I think, has really come together well. So we're expecting big things out of that whole group.
Max, can you kind of add to that? You've all gone through it since December with the new staff through the spring, and now preseason. It's game week. We'll talk about that excitement and you guys ready to get going.
Oh, it's here. I'm so happy. It's something we've worked for since January. We with the new coaches coming in, basically the old O-line, we all sat down and basically I told everybody the team's going to go as we play, as how well we play. Because if we don't block or run block or pass block, we're not going to be able to do anything on offense. So basically the offensive line has come together as a unit. We're able to play together, and I think that the excitement level is going to be really high this week because it's game week, and I think that our closeness as a unit helps us out when we're on the field playing.
Max, you just heard Coach talk about how when you see true freshmen travel, one of those true freshmen that you have is the guy that's behind you, Casey Dunn. What have you seen of him in camp? I'm not going to ask you how confident you are with him behind you, because I know you are. And you should be. But just speak to what you've seen of Casey's development as a true freshman behind you.
I've seen great things out of Casey. He's worked really hard since January and all with our all-season program and everything, and he's bought in to the system. He's learned the system. I have full confidence in him being my backup, even if he has to play at some point. I think he's going to be very, very good whenever he gets his opportunity, and when his opportunity comes, I have full confidence in him making the most of that opportunity.
Coach Clark, I would think, and this is my assumption, that was one of the situations of position of need. That's why a true freshman goes. In the other case, you have a glut of receivers, and that true freshman must have really impressed.
Yeah. I would say it's both. I really would say the thing we liked about Dunn, it's just so hard to come into this level. And that's why when you get a guy from a bigger school who's, well coached, and then once again, as I say, played in those wars of the Hoovers, the Vestavias, the Clay Chalkles. I mean, I think it's close to college football. And that's what we saw out of Dunn, was a guy that understood line calls and, didn't have to go play both sides of the ball, which is a lot of these guys at a smaller school. It doesn't mean they weren't coached. They
Right.
just had to spend the other half of practice playing D-line.
Uh-huh.
You know, so he had a guy that's been able to focus on his position. And he came in ready to go. I mean, he was, you know, of our young guys, he was by far the most impressive. And that's how we kind of earned that spot. Obviously, Anthony Johnson, who I guess you know would be one of the guys you were referring to, is just, we knew it. I mean, this guy was a 4-year starter in high school. He's a competitor, one of the super competitors you'll see out there. We expected him to do well. He, you know, probably surpassed that. And there was a guy that was playing both ways, you know, that never came off the field. So that's another guy, without us talking about too many individuals. He's, I mean, you see him there, so he's obviously done well.
And they're the only two that you got on the team. That doesn't mean that they're the only two. but
Correct.
They're the two that are in the 44, I
Yes,
guess.
sir. Very good.
Any expectations for first-year guys? I mean, how many you figure you might play, that kind of stuff?
You know, that has been, there's going to be some guys, and without naming that, I mean, there's going to be some guys that you don't see on this travel squad because, let's just say maybe there's 4 seniors at linebacker.
Yeah, right.
I mean, why would we take a guy, even though he's close, and when we can keep him for an extra year, let him develop? So we've got some guys that you're going to be hearing a lot of that we really felt like we hit a home run with, but there's a you know, a lot of people at their position that are older, unless if we can redshirt them, we want to. So we're trying to do that, but we won't, you know, if the guy can come in and play and help us, you know, it's just kind of how it goes. So it's a case by case, and sometimes it's just a positional thing.
Do you have a sense on how quick you'll make the rotation of quarterbacks as you're moving them in and out? Will it be 2 or will it be 3?
It'll be 2. I mean, it'll be 2. I mean, we just don't think you can play 3 now. That could change the next week. You know, that could change by, you know, how they play. But unless there's probably an injury, I don't think we could. But you know, doing as long as we have, you know, anything can happen, and we don't ever say never. But it will probably be just 2 guys.
Is there any other ones that are as close like that, but in your lineup where it's as close as the quarterback thing?
Oh yeah, I think we could go down to there and talk about a ton of positions that are very similar to that. You know, from D-line to inside linebacker. I mean, there's some guys that are separated by what? You know, I mean, not a lot, which is not a bad problem. You know, especially defensively with the tempo that we're all fixing to deal with. You better be ready to play 22. You know.
And will the guy you pick Saturday be the one guy? Like he'll be the guy the next week, and then the next week, or?
It's all be, you know, I don't think so. I think we built it that, you know, you didn't have a good day today, we're going with the next guy. And I think that's why they're all,
Right.
There's no, one guy comes in, you see the O-line drop their head. No, it's just the next guy in, you know. And I think we built it that way. And I said, maybe, you know, me and you had this talk, maybe this guy's so great and everybody else isn't, but
There's not that.
we just think we got, you know, we thought we got some good ones. And they, you know, that's how that depth chart's changed the next day. You didn't have a great day, or this series we want to see this other, and that's how we practiced them all the way through, and so they just, I think they expect that.
Max, any more excitement or anxiousness with this one as compared to the first 2 years?
Not as much. It's still exciting. I love when football season starts. It's fun preparing for the game. My favorite day of the week basically is Friday. It's travel day, so it's here.
No practice.
Exactly, no practice. But I love football season. It's it probably doesn't compare as much as my redshirt freshman year, open up first college game, but every game it's basically the same feeling. It's just a bunch of excitement, and I love it.